Welcome back, everybody, to the Freedom Action Adventure game, Sonic Frontiers. This time around, we are going through the Final Horizon, otherwise known as the Super Final Battle. Anyhow, say hello to everybody. David.
We're the one, Maka 4 here, and our regular total is gonna be good, and we just started off with a bit of Night of the Wind.
Yep, which, depressingly, the jukebox doesn't work in this area for some unbeknownst reason.
Oh, that's lame.
Anyhow, besides that, regarding the recording and editing of this series, there's only one episode at the time that we record this episode that I have yet to edit, and that's the last one, which is the final fight against the End. You haven't done this section of the game, right?
No. I think I went a little bit on live stream a while back.
Alright, you did the first tower, I believe. No, you got to the first tower, but you didn't climb it. Right, I remember now.
Yeah.
Anyhow, turns out you can actually play this section before even doing the rest of Oranos Island. You never have to do the round 1 of Oranos.
But story-wise, it makes sense.
Yes.
Yeah.
Albeit, you would think this place would unlock after you beat Oranos Island. But the idea that you can pick either story is a good idea. I will say,
Agreed.
There should have been something there that said, no, this is for advanced players only. Because this final update, while it's not difficult for like the hardcore Sonic players, for the casual market, this is such a freaking difficulty spike that it rivals the spike that Sonic Unleashed did from Autobot Day to Eggman Land.
Dang.
And then if you play this on extreme mode, then it goes beyond that. Because one hit equals death is outrageous in this mode. For this section of the game. Considering everything will try to hit you. And one thing that I curse update 1.4.1 for doing is slowing the attack speed of the enemies, as well as giving the characters a higher damage output.
Yeah.
Which makes this a lot easier. However, when I say this, I wish that the extreme mode kept everything the same. Like, I still stand by for the rest of the other difficulties. Please add checkpoints in places. Make sure that you can save wherever you want. Make the challenges a bit less cryptic, because the strategies for one of them is absurd if you don't know the strategy already. In my live stream, I actually had to look up how to beat a freaking challenge, which is outrageous. To be fair, that's because I did the challenge on extreme mode, not on hard. I think I would have been able to do it on hard, easily.
Probably, yeah. I really doubt.
Furthermore, despite the fact that the characters are supposed to be cyberized, because you can go into the files of this game if you're on the PC, you can get rid of the freaking cyberized filter.
Right, I'm pretty sure you did it. That's how you did during the collectathon. You had them as a regular themselves.
Correct. However, I should note that for Tails specifically, if you're playing on Final Horizon, they actually add another layer of corruption. So only the main layer gets removed, so you'll still see Tails have corruption on him, but nowhere near as much. Why they did that for Tails, I have no clue, but they did. Still, I must say, this kind of thing, I hope they do this for all Sonic games, specifically giving us multiple playable characters in a fully 3D environment. Because fun fact, another benefit of the Final Horizon is that there are no 2D sections in my 3D Sonic game. Thank God.
Oh yeah, this guy can't go into the cyber stages.
Which did suck. I believe they should have been able to.
But then they would have given your 2D in. They would have given us 2D in 3D.
No, because all the cyberspace stages in Final Horizon are all 3D.
Wait, so there are cyber stages in Final Horizon?
Yes, but only Sonic can enter them.
Oh.
Which, to be fair, Tails would break all of them.
Yeah, that's true. Although,
Also,
why did it take so long to bring back tarot cards for Amy?
the last time was in 08 with Sonic Chronicles.
Yeah, but who remembers
A
Chronicles?
lot of people, actually. Not everyone has a good memory of it, but people do remember the damn game.
It was an awful game.
I'm kind of being agree with you. I don't think Elite Beat Agents was a good idea for an RPG. I kind of agree with you. I wouldn't call it awful, but I don't think it was a good game. What else? Furthermore, this is going to be a bit of a different way of recording these because the way I recorded these is not how I did it for the main campaign. I'm not going to separate cutscene episodes and gameplay episodes. Instead, I'm just going to do as I go along. Because separating them manually would be an eternity of editing, and I'm not doing that shit.
Ouch.
Fun fact about that moment, if that was extreme mode, I would have had to restart this whole section right now.
Yeah, I figured.
And you can see why I did this playthrough on hard mode, right?
Yeah.
Extreme mode should be a feature that you unlock in every... You know what? If after getting all the bolts in Shadow Gens, it unlocked extreme mode, I would have done it. I would have actually gone through and hunted all of them.
That would have been interesting.
Shadow Gens in extreme
Maybe
mode actually seems pretty fair, though.
Maybe I could have taken a crack at it, but...
The problem is,
I don't
Shadow
know.
Gens doesn't have good combat like Frontiers. Frontiers' combat isn't great, mind you, but it's not bad. It's actually pretty fun.
Well, yeah, basically, what combat? But all the Doom moves that Shadow got was just more ways to platform. You can do your Doom Blast, which just let you ride up into the air. You have Doom Spear, which would just enhance Chaos Spear or something.
To be
Special
fair,
there.
that is technically a combat move.
Yeah, I guess, but it was mainly used to activate switches on platforms.
That is true. It was.
Doom Serpent just so you can use run on water. Doom Squid is just Spider-Man if you know how to use it. And then
It's
Doom
just
Wing.
Spider-Man. You're not wrong, but yeah. I mean...
And then Doom Wing was cool. You're able to fly, but like I said, alone we just for game do levels fast.
Yeah, like,
There
I
was no-
am in the minority when I say this, but I think that Frontiers is way better than Shadow Gens.
I debate on that a lot.
This is the minority opinion. I think that the consensus amongst the Sonic tubers and also the Sonic fans, especially on the forums, is that Shadow Gens is a better game. I don't agree. I disagree, as Colors would say. But, you know, when have I had the popular opinion, huh? When?
You really do.
Yeah. Anyhow, the platforming in this actually got pretty entertaining. I must say that the platforming in Super Final Battle is a lot more intricate and actually forces you to get good at the damn game, which was one of the issues of Frontiers, that it never actually forces you to get good at Sonic. It just says, make an okay effort and you'll be fine. Which I don't like. I actually miss when you actually had to become good at a game to beat the game. But maybe that's just because I like older games. I've taken the pill of older games were better, and I don't know if you agree with me on that one, David. Do you? I want to know your opinion first. Do you think older games tended to be better?
Most of the time, yeah, but that doesn't. But there's still a lot of good modern games now.
Okay. I see. As honestly...
Frank,
Go ahead.
I guess if you were to give me, say, between Sonic Frontiers or Mega Man 3, I would probably still play Mega Man 3.
Okay, those are two completely different genres of game. Let's do a platformer versus
fine,
platformer. 3D platformer to 3D platformer.
Okay, fine. Crash 3 isn't actually it is 3D.
Yeah.
Crash Ward versus Sonic Frontiers. I would still say I would play Crash Ward.
Okay, how about this? Crash 1 versus Crash 4.
Huh. That's a good. That was actually a good question. Honestly, don't remember much of Crash 1. So I would. I don't know, but it was hard. I have to say Crash 4.
I see. Well, good to know that there are some studios that still have it up.
At least with Crash 4, you have multiple characters. You have Crash, you have Coco. You can play as Cortex. You can play as Tana. You can play as freaking Dingo Dial, which was awesome.
Cool. It's so
So
weird to
yeah,
think that Crash is technically a Microsoft property now.
dude, yeah.
That shit was always confusing to me. It's like, wait a minute, what? It's on Xbox? The fuck? It's like, but I thought Crash was a Sony exclusive, but it's not. It's not anymore. It's crazy. It's horrible. I'm kidding. It's actually a good thing. Now, I will say that. Okay, so Crash, we got it. But like, if you were to say, like, gun to my head, would I rather play, say, Sonic Unleashed versus Sonic Forces? I'm fucking playing Unleashed.
Yeah,
no shot. There's no shot you get me to pick the other one. And also, the thing is, even if some of the modern games are good, because there are examples of good modern games, we don't get them anywhere near as often as we did back then. Like, I swear during the 360 PS3 era, maybe I'm just misremembering, but I swear every few months we would get another banger. Nowadays, we're lucky to get one banger a year. Not even every few months. I would say like every 2 to 3 weeks we would get a good game coming out. Because what really got me, what showed me the downfall of the industry, was the fact when I was watching some COD players try old Halo games, and one of the Call of Duty players was playing Halo Reach, and something that bothered the hell out of me was that he was calling Halo Reach the greatest first-person shooter he ever played. And I think back, I'm like, back in the day, Halo Reach was considered a shit game by a lot of people. A lot of people. It's not even funny. So I decided, okay, let me dust off the 360. Let me play Halo Reach again.
Oh, wow, you barely made that.
I eventually got it for the Master Chief Collection. Honestly, it's so much better because the higher frame rate is so nice. Yeah, I can never go back to playing Halo on console. Never again. The keyboard and mouse is too good. But honestly, I had more fun in my replay of Halo Reach than I did during the fucking Black Ops 6 campaign. I thought the Black Ops 6 campaign was fucking miserable. I really did. And then on the channel, you saw I replayed Halo 1, and I'm thinking to myself, I had a better time playing this than I did fucking playing Infinite Warfare of Call of Duty. And I had a way better time playing Halo 1 than I did Halo Infinite. I thought Halo Infinite was bad. Like, the one reason I was on Team Xbox for so long was Halo. Then I played Halo Infinite, and I was like, nah, G, you're not getting me with that. This is not it. This is not it at all. But yeah. Now, there are always exceptions. I think that the best 2D Mario game has been dethroned. I think Mario Wonder is now the best 2D Mario game. It's just too freaking good.
I haven't played it yet.
My only issue is that it has the weakest soundtrack in the Mario series. It's not even funny. Well, of the main platformers, so the 3D and 2D platformers, I think Mario Wonder has the weakest of the soundtracks.
Okay.
Because you can't hate on the original Mario Brothers because that theme is iconic.
Yeah.
Exactly. You cannot call that the worst soundtrack. That is the most iconic theme in, I would say, all of video games. That game itself, to me, reflects gaming as a whole. I still think that when I think of video games, just if you tell me the word video games, the first character that appears in my mind isn't Sonic, it's not Master Chief, it's not Steve, it's not fucking Diva, it's Super Mario.
Yeah, but I pretty much agree with that.
Okay, the icon of icons.
Like even before I played my first game, before I played the first video game I ever played, I still knew about Mario.
Yeah, that guy is Mr. Video Game. Is what some parents used to say.
But I have a question.
Yeah.
Would you say Paramount is? Okay, here's my question. But would Paramount be owned by Universal Studios?
Let's check.
So is it possible we might get a Sonic attraction in Universal someday?
Paramount is not owned by Universal. Paramount Global
Oh.
is a separate company.
Never mind then.
And even then, Paramount doesn't own Sonic. They have a license to make movies about him. That's it.
Well, that could be the same. That could be the same with Mario. Universal doesn't own Nintendo, but they got a license, and now we get Super Mario World.
But they probably spoke to Nintendo directly to do that shit.
So, okay, yeah.
Yeah, because Nintendo has the final say on whatever Mario does. Like, remember that the Nintendo guys actually went over the Mario script before the movie came out, because apparently the movie was going to be bad until a bunch of the Nintendo guys showed up and said, no, change.
What was it gonna be about? But when it didn't have them.
I don't remember the full details, but what I do remember is that the character that got the most changes, well, two, was Mario himself and Princess Peach.
Huh.
Apparently they changed the script to make Mario cooler, like more heroic.
That's already sounding bad.
Which makes me question what the hell kind of Mario were they writing in the first place? He's Mr. Video Game. He's the cool guy. You know?
They weren't gonna make him like live action Mario, were they?
No. Okay, the only issue with live action Mario was that he was not good looking. He did not look like Mario. That was the biggest issue with him. The actual live action Mario is like, hold on, I'm getting arrested for being a plumber. He was more like the Super Mario Bros. Super Show Mario, but live action.
Yeah.
So, in the context of the timing, that was probably the best characterization we could have gotten of Mario, because God knows we didn't have the RPGs yet.
Right.
This dialogue, by the way. Sometimes I question the changes, and sometimes... And, yes, I believe Avi does legitimately say Ara at some point.
Well, well, Ada still something normal can be said. She didn't say in the the known way.
Well, no. I will say that there is a dialogue where Amy legitimately says Ara, but
Oh my.
that's mostly stuff in like Sonic X, where she was hounding for Sonic, you know?
Yeah. I heard they're planning on redoing Sonic X.
Like a remaster, right? Yeah, I heard of that.
That will be interesting to see. I'm
Thing
not
is-
sure how it'll do though.
It's probably gonna be like when they do remasters of old anime, they just make it widescreen, increase the resolution through interpolation. Not interpolation, that's for frames. There's another one for adding definition, but it's the same concept. And then to make it widescreen, they're probably just gonna make the image bigger and then crop the top and bottom, or just the top or just the bottom. Kind of like what they did for the Dragon Ball Orange Bricks. Or what they're doing right now with Yu-Gi-Oh! GX Remastered. So basically, that's what a remaster would be. And then if you want to up the frame rate from 24, which I argue you shouldn't, but if you did, you would have to use interpolation. Which, I'm gonna be honest, modern interpolation isn't that good yet. In a few years, it'll be good, but not yet. I like how Knuckles is like, yeah, Amy, if you want to find the emeralds, just dig a hole. It's like, Knuckles, you know who I am, right?
Yeah, you can't dig a hole with a hammer.
Yeah. Speaking of that, tomorrow I'm actually gonna go dig holes in my buddy's place.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we're gonna be installing a pool.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so he has me and this other Mexican guy. It's like, yeah, us three, we're gonna dig the hole ourselves. I got the license for it. He said, lend the permit for it.
That's cool.
My back's gonna hurt tomorrow. I can feel it. It's fine.
Here's what I recommend. After everything, one long hot water bath.
Okay, I'll take your advice.
That's what I do every time I come back from work.
That's crazy. Yeah, okay, I'll make sure to do that.
Yeah.
Anyhow, proof that they were listening because Mario Kishimoto, I shit you not. By the way, here's something I found hilarious, right? When they did the Final Horizon, Mario Kishimoto made an open Twitter account where people would send suggestions to him. And a lot of the suggestions actually made it in. More complicated Tetris puzzles is one of the most funny suggestions that was given to him, and he put it in the game. Kishimoto, my goat. The one thing, okay, so apparently there's over 3 million suggestions for him. Not a single person decided the ability to use multiple markings for location. That's one. And the other one that bothered me, for whatever reason, nobody suggested checkpoints.
Oh, wow.
Like, out of the millions of people, not one fucking person suggested checkpoints, improved FPS, or any of the other stuff.
Just more complex Tetris.
Well, there's a lot of things that they suggested, like no 3D, no 2D, which honestly, I'm surprised he listened to.
Okay.
No 2D was good. More intricate platforming, which he did listen to. Harder combat, albeit the way he went about it wasn't perfect. All he did was up the fucking damage value of all the enemies and then make them move absurdly fast.
Right.
More intricate challenges during cyberspace, which they did do. I want to know who suggested the flying cars, though.
Flying car?
There's a level in cyberspace where you're deadass just running on flying cars.
Where's that from?
I have no idea. That's what I was curious about. Like, who thought about that?
Where's Sonic get a member of that from?
Oh, Route 99 from Sonic Advance 3. I believe it was Route 99. I'm probably thinking of a different game, honestly. But I think I'm right.
Maybe. Who knows?
If I'm wrong, one of the Sonic people will tell me because they love this guy too much.
Agreed.
Okay, that thing that modern games do, and that's by pixelating things that are too close or too far away from the screen in order to improve your vision, I never liked that. It's like how there is an issue with stuff like that, like in the old video games. Sometimes because they would leave the character on screen, it would block your view of the camera. And yeah, that was an issue, but I don't think making the character invisible was a good compromise.
No, really wasn't.
I never liked that sort of thing. That's actually something that I praised Palworld for doing, because for all the issues Palworld has, it's a fucking fun game. It's a really fun game.
You still play it though?
I do, but I'm currently waiting for the lawsuit to end so that I can do my new playthrough.
Well, how does the lawsuit affect you?
They have been changing game mechanics.
Oh.
So I want to know what the game is like after everything.
I can't believe it. Nintendo, you don't own Monster Hunting game. Power World gameplay isn't even similar to Pokemon at all.
I have no dog in this race. I just want to know who wins at the end of this.
We'll see. Did they already release the new update with the new DLC and stuff?
They've made a lot of updates to Palworld. No. Palworld they've committed to be a one-time payment. Okay, you buy the game once and you have everything. That has been their motto since day one, and that's another reason I respect Pocket Fair.
Okay, that is actually pretty cool. But I'm talking about like when they showed during the Game Award, the new forest thing.
Oh, that's free. I already have that stuff.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. That's why I'm waiting on the lawsuit to end to see how the game ends up. And also because with every update caused by this lawsuit, they break some mods.
They what?
They break the mods as well.
What? I thought you didn't care about mods.
No, I'm saying that. First of all, I don't care about mods when it comes to ranking a game. But if I'm gonna mod a game, it's probably because I like the game already, but I want to make it more likable.
Oh, so just basically quality of life stuff.
Yeah, it's like when I did Neptunia Sisters vs. Sisters. Even though it looks like I was playing a vanilla video game, no, that shit was modded. You just never saw it because it's all quality of life stuff that I mod in.
Okay.
But, you know, thanks to the power of editing, the only mod you guys actually saw was the panties mod that changed Netgear's panties from her Sister vs. Sister 1 to the Mark II one.
Of course, that's what you need to do.
I can't fucking believe I said that out loud.
hey, don't.
There's no shame in my game. It's just funny that I say it that way.
Had to be done.
It had to be done. It had to be done. Exactly. You know what's funny? On the Switch version, because so many people complained about it, they put it back in. She has the freaking Mark II panties in that game.
In the Switch version, oh my god.
They freaking heard all the complaints, so they put that shit back in. I want to know who was complaining that. How did I not get that? I'm sorry.
How did you?
I totally got that. I'm sorry.
What the heck?
Okay, but I want to know who was complaining about the title screen. Why they made Netgear so happy on the title screen for the Switch version?
That was the complaint. She was happy.
No, they made her happy. That's one of the complaints was that she looked too sad in the title screen of the original game.
Oh.
And I'm like, guys, Netgear having the darker stories is par for the course. Of course.
Conquest.
That's also true. You're proving my point. I don't know why you said that like a cough.
I didn't say that I was just proving you. I was adding to your thing.
Fair enough. Fair enough. But yeah.
Yeah.
So let's be real. It's Mark II, Netgear, she's getting freaking glazed by everybody. And then Rebirth 3 and Victory, Netgear gets the freaking shaft, bro. And it's not even like a hot guy. No, it's Plutia's. And then...
And also Neptune's a bit.
That's true. That dude is like, don't worry, Netgear, I won't leave you alone. I'm just gonna go get you a souvenir. Then we proceed to fuck around for like 10 hours, real lifetime. And when we come back, Neptune did not buy her a souvenir.
Yeah, what the heck?
I'm sorry, I'm still a bit... that playthrough broke me, dude. That playthrough of Rebirth 3 freaking ended my sanity, bro.
Clearly I can tell.
And yet, I still consider that one of the better Neptunia games. Because, jokes aside, the gameplay is actually what I like about Neptunia. It's a turn-based RPG that you strategize in and you customize. It's basically the epitome of turn-based RPG. Okay?
I see.
It has all of my cravings for an RPG, and it meets all of them. Albeit the problem in Neptunia is that it's too much like an RPG that people who don't like RPGs will never touch that shit. Like, for example, Expedition, that new game that the French government paid for.
Oh yeah, I heard about that one.
Yeah, that's a turn-based RPG, but it has Paper Mario mechanics.
Why did the government pay for it?
Because, well, the governments of different countries have been interested in paying for video games so that they can, you know, propagate like a pro message for their country.
Okay.
It's like Dustborn, it's a propaganda game. The difference is that sometimes the propaganda game is good, like Dustborn. Not Dustborn, Dustborn was bad. I mean, Expedition 33. Like, Call of Duty was a propaganda game for the USA. And
it was?
Yeah, the original Call of Duty was a pro-USA propaganda game. About World War II. Yeah, you play as a Russian and as a British guy, but the main, like, cool shit is done in the America campaign. Okay?
Alright.
Like, that's one thing I do kind of miss about the old Call of Duties, that they really just were, like, hardcore pro-USA propaganda. But the thing is that the gameplay was still fun, though. That's the thing. It's like, Expedition 33 is a hardcore French propaganda game, but the gameplay is fun. Dustborn was bad. That shit was trash. That game did not deserve it. I forgot which country did Dustborn. Let me look it up. Which government funded Dustborn?
I'm gonna go on a limb and say
Norway.
Okay, Norway. I was actually gonna say Germany.
No. That'd be crazy.
Yep.
Yep. Anyhow, I wonder how you would go about tackling this challenge.
What challenge?
Get through all 3 pillars in the span of whatever seconds it is.
I'm sorry, seconds?
Yeah.
How to say how long?
I know it's more difficult. Oh, it's 219.
Okay, that I don't know. Maybe I'm not sure.
That's
how
not
though.
even 4 minutes.
That's
4 minutes is 240.
I know. They're like 3.5.
Yeah. I want to know who decided 219 seconds specifically, because that's manually programmed. There's no algorithm there. Lo and behold, thank goodness for that, you know, broken spin dash. This has to be the most powerful spin dash in the history of Sonic. Okay, this thing makes the Adventure 1 spin dash look weak. And do you know about the Adventure 1 spin dash?
No.
So basically, that thing was the freaking I win button, I would say. It allows you to cheese all sorts of platforming challenges. You could completely skip sections of the levels. It was absurd.
Ah.
But this is another beast. This spin dash is too good. That Sonic fans complained about it, and I'm like, come on, guys! If the spin dash sucked, you would have said it's not a worth reward for doing all this shit on islands. But if it's good, you guys complain because it's too good.
Yeah, people go complain about everything.
But the thing is, I know in the back of my mind, it's different people making different complaints. So it's not like a monolith, which is what a lot of companies think people who play video games are.
What a monolith?
A monolith in this specific case means a organized group that all think the same way.
Ah. So basically, like another way of saying angry mob.
No, because even within angry mobs, they think differently. That's why people
Really?
get killed in mobs as well. And here's the big twist. Even after you get all the pillars, you have to go back to the center.
Oh, that's bullshit!
Mwahahaha. At the mercy of the mob. Haha.
That is such BS.
Look at that jump speed. That's insane. Whee! Pew! Damn, you're not kidding about the flying though. It does look like I'm just flying everywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm not even controlling tails is the craziest part.
But, you know, about so while talking about Sonic, let's talk about what happened in the recent comic with the Justice League crossover.
Go ahead.
So basically, how the first volume ended. Let's say they fought Dark. They actually fought Darkseid. They, as predicted, they kind of got the butt kicked. Darkseid got the first Chaos Emerald. He used it to power his ship's engine, and then he used it to basically destroy the Justice League as Sonic and his friends were sent to the DC universe. And Mobius is gone.
Okay, I've gotta ask, why the fuck is it that everybody who steals a Chaos Emerald uses it as a fucking power source? Tails used it to power his plane. Eggman used it to power the Death Egg Robo. He then used the Master Emerald to power the Doomsday Robo. They then use the Chaos Emeralds. Tails uses it to power his plane. I think I already said that.
You did.
Professor Gerald used the Chaos Emerald to power and eclipse cannons. Like, Jewel of Unlimited Power. Everyone seems to use it to power either a weapon or a vehicle. Why?
Here's the crazy thing, though. It was gonna. They said in the comic that the Chaos Emeralds were trying to hide. One second. Can we edit all that out?
I'll edit that out, don't worry.
Oh, thank God. Okay. As I was saying, they said in the comic, this is basically straight up thing. The Chaos Emeralds were trying to hide from Darkseid. They think are terrified of him.
Okay.
That's basically how broken Darkseid is. But again, I question why have the Sonic cast go against him of all people?
Well, I'm gonna tell you the truth, and this is probably the most hated answer by comic book nerds, but it's the truth. It's the fact that whoever wins is up to the writer's discretion. We can make all of these commentaries about statistics, character, battle IQ, adaptability IQ, charisma, whatever statistics we want to bring up, speed, calculations. The truth is, whoever writes the story has the ultimate say. So why have Sonic and crew go fight Darkseid? Because most likely than not, thanks to the Sega mandate, Sonic has to always win.
Well, so far he actually lost.
I mean, in the end. You cannot have a Sonic story anymore where Sonic loses at the end. So in other words, Sonic Chronicles could never be made today.
Well, would it count if Sonic loses, but he freed the Justice League and they stopped Darkseid? Does that count?
Darkseid would ultimately still be defeated, so it would be fine.
But Sonic doesn't beat him.
That's fine. The rule is good has to triumph over evil, specifically.
Well, Sonic doesn't beat him, that's fine. Because I refuse to believe IDW Sonic could beat Darkseid. Actually, I don't think that it's the same IDW.
If it's a different continuity, then it can be whatever the hell they want. That's another rule.
I just know it is not Archie.
Archie Sonic would probably win, I would argue.
Well, Archie Sonic could beat Wally West, and he's broken the comic. I know you don't know much about comic, but just believe me, Wally West is broken.
That's Flash.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I was gonna say that's Ezra Miller, but that's wrong. That's Barry, right?
Ezra Miller is Barry Allen, yes.
Yeah, okay.
Wally West he's another character. As far as I know, he's only been playing live action in the CW where he was black.
What? Dude, it's like the Death Note live action. Why is L black?
Like, well, I don't know why, but hey, I don't complain. CW Wally West was pretty good.
Cool. I'm gonna say this though. Why is it that L in the Death Note live action is the best fucking character?
Well, to be fair, not very much go against him.
Mia sucks. Light sucks. Ryuk was too involved.
You gotta admit though, his line of how no one had ever gone to 2 letters was a badass.
Except you see Ryuk's name written.
Where? In Death Note?
In the Death Note, it says, "Do not trust Ryuk. He is not your pal. He is not your pet." Ryuk's name is written in the freaking Death Note.
Okay, is that was that one of the rules?
No, that was just a note from the previous owner.
Well, to be fair, I don't think. Actually, would they even work?
No, you can't kill a Shinigami by writing their name. The Death Note rule is the human whose name is written in this note shall die. And even in Japanese, they use the word ningen, which specifically reference human.
Okay, but what the? What the hell was that? Did it have a stroke or something?
You're having a fucking seizure. That's what you're doing.
Well, okay. Anyway, they changed a lot of the rules in the Death Note in live action.
If you burn the page, you can stop the death of somebody, but you can only do it once. That's
apparently only the owner can see the Shinigami, not whoever touched the Death Note.
Look, Death Note live action was okay. I'm gonna be honest though, the chase scene was kind of funny.
It wasn't. It is, yeah, but they did a live action before, a Japanese live action, right?
They did multiple Japanese live actions, and they're actually pretty good. And I would argue that there are some scenes in the live action that's better than the original. Look, did you see how freaking fast I died?
Yeah, what the fuck?
Anyways, what I'll say, there are some scenes in the Japanese live action that I would argue are actually better than the anime, but I still think that the anime overall is a better watch. Albeit, I'm not gonna lie, the idea of Mello having his character completely removed, and in exchange, Mello is just some freaking finger puppet that Nier plays with, is the funniest change I've ever seen.
You know, I always forget about Netto and Nier. I always forget about those two.
Yeah. Even though they're relevant for 11 episodes.
Yeah, but yeah, ask me, even though they were supposed to surpass him, they can never surpass L, in my opinion.
Together they can, but individually they can't. That was the message.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because the idea is that L is like a once-in-a-lifetime generation. So he's like raw talent with training. Whereas Nier doesn't have the talent of L, but he definitely had L's training, so he can approach L, but he's not as good as L.
Yeah, I can't help but notice that the only live action anime adaptations that have only been in Japan. America just can't seem to do it right, except for One Piece.
I haven't seen it yet, so I'm not going to say anything, and besides, I'm not really big on One Piece, so I have no idea.
But again, well, then I'll just say it right now: the One Piece the One Piece adaptation is actually freaking good.
You know which live action adaptation I really want to see? Serial Experiment Lane.
Say again?
Serial Experiment Lane.
That sounds familiar.
It's about a girl who uploads herself to the internet and becomes God.
Oh. I can only imagine how that goes.
The other one that I would like to see is Haruhi Suzumiya.
Okay, that I would actually love to see.
That would be so fire in live action. Actually,
yeah, yeah, it would. It would actually be pretty simple considering there's not too much insane stuff until like
there's like
only a few scenes.
There's like one thing you would have to do CG, but everything else could be done practically because the whole thing happens at a freaking school with some scenes being at a park.
Yeah, so a live action Haruhi would actually be pretty good.
Yeah. See, I'm not against the idea of live action anime adaptations. There are, even though it's not a Japanese anime, the reason I'm not comes down to the fact that I think the live action Cinderella is better than the original movie. I still stand by that.
I haven't seen a live action one, so I can't comment on that.
That's like the one reason I still defend live action adaptations. Because that was legitimately really good.
Did you hear that they're planning doing a body horror Cinderella movie?
Well, to be fair, the original Brothers Grimm story had body horror. Also, we have just confirmed that the front and back of the cards are the same.
Wait, what?
Look at Amy. The front and back of the tarot cards are the same. There is no image on them.
Well, I guess, to play they.
So how did Amy see all the cards tell me is that danger's approaching? I already know that. So apparently Ian Flynn actually didn't write the Final Horizon dialogue, which actually explains why the Final Horizon dialogue, I would argue, is better. Albeit, the scene where Amy basically tells Sage, I'm an atheist because science exists, and then Sage says, just because science exists does not disprove the existence of God, is crazy dialogue.
Amy has faith gods before. Forget, not Solara doesn't count, and she can't remember that. But we have what else we got? We have Dark Gaia. We have.
She never saw Dark Gaia, mind you.
Okay, but she knows. She knows about it.
She knows about it, but she never saw him.
Maybe not, but still, the fact that she saw him, I'm pretty sure Sonic would tell everything about it.
She saw Perfect Chaos, and she saw the Biohazard. The Biohazard is definitely not a god. Perfect Chaos is a god out of technicality.
That's true.
She doesn't remember Solaris. She never saw Devil Doom. She only saw the regular Black Doom.
Black Doom isn't even a god. He's an alien.
He's just a really badass alien, mind you. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Let's see, what else?
She never encounters Merlina or Ifrit or Alflayla Walela. She's not
Time
in
Eater. Time Eater.
Is Time Eater a god technically, right? Because I believe Ian Flynn said that it was like a remnant of Mephiles or some shit. Because Ian Flynn has said some of the weirdest shit on his podcast.
Was he even around during Time Eater? I don't think he was.
No, he was working on the comics by that point. Ian Flynn has been in the comics for a while, for a long time.
Let's see. I'm gonna look it up.
I forget which Ian Flynn podcast episode it is, so I don't know. But that's besides the point. The fact of the matter is, Amy saying she's atheist was the funniest shit I ever read.
Okay, yeah, that was kind of funny. Okay, yeah, it doesn't say, but I'm gonna assume Time Eater is a god because, like, if they can control time, it must have to be some form of divinity.
True, or a fourth dimensional being, technically.
That is true. I'll admit. Okay, what else was there?
She never saw the Deadly Six. She wasn't even in colors.
Nope.
Boom doesn't count.
There wasn't even any god in Boom.
And there's no god in Forces either.
Yeah, Infinite isn't even... Infinite, not even a god. He just got popped out of Ruby.
Despite the fact that the freaking promotional magazine says more powerful than Solaris. Like, that is an actual line in a Japanese magazine.
That is bullshit of the highest order.
I know.
So... Yeah, I guess in a way that makes sense. The closest Amy ever saw to a god would be Time Eater.
Yeah. I guess. And if we believe the freaking Ian Flynn that it's a remnant of Mephiles, she only saw half of a god. Mwahahaha.
Right.
But it's still funny as fuck. She's like, how could such an advanced civilization believe in God? It's like, what kind of... Amy, you're the only character back then who used to say, oh my god.
Well, I think that's the only reason I didn't watch it, because she doesn't believe in God, so she had no reason for saying it.
Fair enough. Also, can we just point out the fact that it is canon that Blaze and Amy are racist towards monkeys?
Say what now?
No, I'm serious. Like, if you ever read some of the dialogue that they give to Blaze and Amy, they just talk mad shit about monkeys. It's crazy.
Wow. Imagine we get a monkey race in next Sonic game.
Dude.
We have a hedgehog, we have foxes, we have cats, we have jackals.
We're gonna have to force Amy and Blaze to apologize. No, it's like there's a scene where she's like, "You look like an overgrown monkey." I'm like, "What kind of shit?"
Just wow.
And even Blaze is like, "You know, I'm smarter than a monkey, right?"
Dang.
Like, okay, in the real human world with real human English, that's not an insult. But considering anthropomorphic animals exist in this world, as well as realistic animals, that's fucked up.
Agreed.
Anyhow, how long did you spend on this puzzle?
I have no idea.
I know you did this on your video. I think you spent like 30 minutes here.
Oh my god! I can believe that, because I mean, I think I know. I remember I did the I don't know how long though.
Yeah. And then for this, we have to get the other one.
Do that.
I want to point out that this puzzle is one of the hardest puzzles in the game, and yet it's not even... This is basically like a first or second dungeon Zelda puzzle from back in the day.
Yeah.
Which makes me think, how the mighty have fallen if this is considered a puzzle that was considered more intricate by the developers. Hooray! I remember when I was recording this puzzle, I was not recording, streaming it. I was giving this puzzle mad praise, which goes to show how deprived of good puzzles I've been.
Really?
Yeah. More flying ensues. Wait, the dialogue with Sage, where she says God is real. Where was it? No, I just passed over it. Whatever.
Ah, man.
We do eventually get to see it.
Okay.
Unless I skipped it, in which case, tragic. But I believe I did everything. Unless that scene is a part of the lost footage, which I hope to God it's not.
Lost footage?
Remember, I recorded all of cyberspace, but I only have one episode on my computer for some reason. I mean, one level on my computer. And I'm like, what happened? Yeah. It's pretty interesting. Yeah. I don't remember what Amy says to Sage regarding the existence of a god in the English text.
I don't remember that at all.
It's just some of the dialogue they give Amy is very interesting.
Oh wow, way to jump levels.
Oh yeah, I've been. What you're not seeing is all the off-screen grinding. You know?
Yeah.
Hmm.
And not surprised you focus on speed.
Of course, the speed is so useful. Look at how much I can do with speed.
In a war that Jacksepticeye, speed is key.
Okay.
You don't watch him, do you?
He's the guy who says top of the morning to you laddies, right?
Yeah, that's him.
That's the only thing I know about that guy. I don't watch a single thing he does.
Okay.
Yep. But I've heard that intro like a million times. Somehow. I think I just see like clips of him on my feeds on occasion. You know, I was looking at the new live action Kakaguru and I'm thinking to myself, this looks like so shit, dude. Who approved this?
I want to know that too because it makes. Yeah. I think I almost got an aneurysm just watching that trailer.
Well, I don't want you to die.
Cause it is just awful. Did anyone in the series even know Kakaguri?
You know what's interesting about that sentence, by the way, is that when they did the live action Death Note, only L's actor actually read the manga.
Oh god.
The actors and the directors had no freaking clue what they were doing.
That's not promising.
Which explains why Mia is the way she is, by the way. They changed Misa to Mia because, I don't know, they just did.
Yeah, and she was the farthest from Misa at all.
Yeah, Misa Amane, I would also say that Misa Amane was a much smarter character. One of the weirdest things you find out in the how to analyze stuff from Death Note is that Misa is pretty much similar level intelligence to Light and L, but the difference is she pretty much made everyone think she was stupid.
Yeah.
Well, that's the end of this part. Everybody have a nice day.
Sayonara.